Can either of you remember, if you think back on your first booking, how you felt and what you thought?
When I went my first booking, I'd never done escorting before. Didn't know a thing. I got sent to a very difficult client, but I thought it was a breeze. I thought, well, if this is escorting, then this is going to be a very, very easy job. And that was that's sort of what convinced me to keep on going for a little while, because it was so easy. But I soon learnt straight after that it wasn't that easy.
There's also a lot of difficult clients. Yeah. I'm sort of similar, actually. The first few jobs I had in the first couple of nights were really simple, really quick, and I didn't do much at all. A lot of it was just talking. I thought, well, this is really easy. So, yeah, basically, like I said before, if they had been hard jobs, I probably would have never gone back, never did it again. But because they were easy, I kept along with it. And yeah, sure enough, there were a lot worse clients down the track, but yeah.
But by then you've already learned to handle it.
Yeah, there's lots of sort of tricks of the trade. You sort of learn how to deal with people, and yeah, certain things you have to do. Yeah.
Just getting back to the first job, now, would you say that you felt, when it was all over, were you relieved, or did you feel powerful?
I had a sort of strange sort of rush when I walked out. It was sort of, I think it was the first job I did in Melbourne was actually with a couple, and I just came out and had a lot of money from it. And I was just really sort of ecstatic and buzzing from it. I don't know why, but yeah, I just came out of it sort of really on a natural high for some reason.
Yeah. I came out of it it was making me think a lot, like whether I liked it or not. I know I had to go home and have a few cones just to calm down and just reflect on everything, see if I wanted to continue with it. But I did, and it wasn't too bad.
So Ricky, what are the downsides to the job?
I think the main downside is if you ever go into a job and you let that job get to you, you let that client get to you, come out of the job and you got basically what's described as like a head fuck. It's just, you question your morals, you get really confused, like should I be doing this, should I not be doing this? And yeah, it's just a really big confusion. Probably the other downside is I don't class it as one of the better jobs. It's only just got a good pay rate. So,
do you find any downsides, Travis?
I think one of the biggest downsides of the job is actually as far as your future goes, because no one's actually looking after your future, okay? You're escorting and you're making a lot of money while you're young, and that's fantastic. You're making more money than anyone else your age. But you've also got to look to the future, and well, while you're doing escorting, if you're not working a regular job, what am I going to say for the 3 years while you've been escorting? And also, what's happening to superannuation? You're not putting anything aside for the future. You're also not studying. There could be a lot of things that could be actually sort of hindering you in the future. So you sort of really got to be careful and make plans while you're doing escorting to at least be doing something else, so you do know that you got something to fall on, or you got something to progress with when you finish the job, when you finish escorting, because otherwise you're just going to stop it and say, well, hang on, I'm a lot older than everyone else was when they finished school, but where do I go now, sort of thing. So yeah, you just got to be careful that you're planning for your future while you're doing all this. Yeah.
So what do you think of the media's portrayal of the sex industry as a whole, the escort industry, the street workers?
Sort of a bad stigma and stereotype attached as far as escorts go, as far as what lives they may lead, as far as drugs, as far as everything. Sort of, maybe you think it's sort of for people that sort of lower in society or lower class or something like that, perhaps. I don't know.
A lot of people think like escorts, prostitutes, or drug users, all this, live in a little crappy little house inside of the gutter. But I don't like the portrayal of a escort or prostitute. I think, basically, as I said, we're normal people, and a normal person's a normal person. They're not lower or they're not higher than anyone else. So.
Have you ever seen a fair portrayal of it on TV?
I think I've seen
one documentary.
Was that on SBS or something like that? And they were. It was overseas.
No, I saw one in Melbourne. There was a tranny down at the St Kilda on Upland Street, and she gave a really, really good impression of what prostitute's life was, but it still wasn't the best because at that moment, she's still involved in drugs and that, so it still gave the opinion that most prostitutes use drugs, which isn't true. A lot of them are straight, and I've known quite a few straight escorts who don't touch drugs, who don't drink, and most people don't think that. And
so what's the lifespan of a male escort?
Well, male gay escort, okay, at the start, a lot of people see it, the younger the better, so once you're 18 to early 20s, that's great. But then there's also a lot of need. Every agency will have a few guys around the 30-year-old age because some clients like mature escorts, but there won't be a greater need for you once you sort of get over around 25 because they're always selling you as younger. They always lie about your age. But depending on how you are, depending on your sort of physique, if you keep a good physique and you're 30 and you still kept yourself rather well, then you still can get quite a bit of work at 30, but I can't see myself doing that when I'm 30.
So what life skills and wisdom have you acquired from being a male escort?
Well, it does teach you a lot. You definitely meet a lot of people. You learn to deal with a lot of different situations too.
Young people's some of the you probably get. Yeah. You can deal with any situation.
It opens your eyes up a lot. Just some of the clients, you're just amazed. You just would not think that they'd be hiring a gay escort.
Yeah, you walk down the street and you see all these people in suits, but
married couple.
Being an escort for a week, it really opens your eyes into
what people do in their sort of private lives.
Yeah, how diverse it truly is.
Yeah, lawyers, doctors that are married, just in their private lives, you'd be amazed what they get up to. Yeah.
So if you could look back on yourselves before you worked, how has working changed the both of you in your personality and your outlook on life?
I'm more assertive. That's it, basically. I've learned how to be more assertive than what I was. I was never assertive, so...
But that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about you, Travis?
I don't know how work has actually directly affected me, but initially I did have a problem with drugs. I sort of took that on and started to block away whatever thoughts I had from the job by using drugs, but I got my head around that and managed to quit, and ever since then I've sort of really opened my eyes to just how to appreciate life and how to appreciate everything you have, and just being clear-headed and is just the best thing for you. And I don't know, it just really made me appreciate everything that I have. And yeah.
So what about your self-esteem? How has it affected how you feel within yourself as a human being?
Self-esteem. I don't know. I've sort of never really had a problem with self-esteem, and well, I don't know, I just sort of, as long as I'm happy, I don't sort of worry about how people perceive me or anything like that, so I've never sort of really had a problem in that way. Yeah.
I know some escorts do escorting to boost their self-esteem. I've met quite a few escorts in that situation. It's like, well, nobody likes me. Does
people
escorting people? People
yeah.
paying for me. Everyone likes me.
Yeah.
But I think the healthy way to go into it is already have a good self-esteem, and
you definitely can't expect to get a good self-esteem from escorting. You have to have one and keep
that's
it.
why you have to de-roll yourself, because if you don't, then it begins like chipping away at this, like your self-esteem, your respect. It slowly chips away. So if you de-roll yourself and put the job as a job, then it doesn't do that, and you're able to go on quite easily.
Yeah.
So are there any intangible rewards from working as a male escort, or are they all simply material?
Unfortunately, I pretty much think it's basically money, to be honest. I don't really see many other rewards.
No.
Yeah, to be blatantly honest, I mean, you're not doing it for any other reason than the money, and also the amount of hours that you can work to get the money, which means you can do other things in your life, whether you need to be studying at university or whatnot. You can sort of manage it quite easily while you're escorting, yeah.
So what advice would you give to a young man who would come to you and say, well, look, I'm thinking of being a male escort? What would you say to him?
We actually, at the other agency we used to work at, we used to get escorts all the time ringing up the agency saying, I'm thinking about working as an escort. So then the manager would then get them to hang out with us for a day or come out with us that night so he could just ask us a few questions. And it's sort of basically hard to tell an escort what it's like to be an escort. I think you basically got to have a strong personality.
Be charismatic, be assertive,
Yeah,
be safe, and
but you've basically got to have yourself together, because if you're not a sort of strong person, or you haven't sort of got yourself focused on what you're doing, you can really sort of lose your way if you become an escort. Or you could get sidetracked in what you're actually doing in your life. You should make sure it's only a small part of your life, but it doesn't consume everything else. Yeah.
So like if you do it wrongly, it will chip away at you, like constantly, and in the end, you just sort of.
Was that courtesy extended to you when you first went there?
Unfortunately, no. Oh, because I didn't actually get anyone.
I was told everything wrong. Basically, so I knew nothing about escorting, nothing at all, and I was learning off the manager and off other escorts.
Which led you astray, basically.
Yeah, it totally
the manager totally led you astray, but I was lucky
things
that.
to do with protection, things not to do with protection, just different things and how to treat a client. I was told one thing, but experience told me another, and
There's no way the manager can actually tell you how to treat clients, because he's never actually worked. The best way is to get it up friends who have actually worked.
And I did, and slowly with experience and talking to other escorts after, it's sort of then grab your experience. But nobody told me anything at the start, and when they did, it was basically not the right thing to say or tell someone.
So, Travis, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Well, at the moment, when I was doing escorting, the majority of the time I've been single. It's only recently I've actually been in a meaningful relationship, and something that's actually going to be long term. So we have actually made plans to start studying and actually work on a career, a real job, because I think when you're single, escorting doesn't matter so much. All you've got to really worry about yourself. And now I'm sort of more worried about keeping certain things between us special. And well, escorting is going to, no matter what you say, it will affect certain things. And the quicker we drop it, the better. But we've got to be practical. I mean, we do have to keep doing it because we do have to keep on living and paying bills and things like that. So we're just basically going to slowly get ourselves together and find something else that we'll be happy at doing, and move on.
Thank you for letting us into your lives today and into your home. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure. Thank you.